Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
What a lovely day, isn't it?
'Tis that.
Are you here on holiday?
No, I live here.
Oh, good for you. Those are sheep, aren't they? Yes, I thought they were. Only, why are they up in the trees?
A fair question, and one that in recent weeks has been much on my mind. It's my considered opinion that they're nesting.
Nesting? Like birds?
Exactly. It's my belief that these sheep are labouring under the misapprehension that they're birds. Observe their behaviour. Take for a start the sheep's tendency to up about the field on their back legs. Now witness their attempts to fly from tree to tree. Notice they do not so much fly as plummet.
Yes, but why do they think they're birds?
Another fair question. One thing is for sure. A sheep is not a creature of the air. It has enormous difficulty in the comparatively simple act of perching. Trouble is, sheep are very dim. Once they get an idea in their heads, there's no shift in it.
But where did they get the idea?
From Harold. He's that most dangerous of creatures, a clever sheep. He's realised that a sheep's life consists of standing around for a few months and then being eaten. And that's a depressing prospect for an ambitious sheep. He's patently hit on the idea of escape.
Well, why don't you just remove Harold?
Because of the enormous commercial possibilities if he succeeds.
And what exactly are the commercial possibilities of ovine aviation?
Mesdames et messieurs, voici le mouton anglo-français, la version lapine, et maintenant je plaiderai comme ça. Maintenant, je vous présente le pauvre célèbre Jean-Brian Jatapatique.
Merci mon petit chouchou, ils rien la stripper extraordinaire. Maintenant le grand mouton anglo-français avec le propeller dans le nez et la comme ça, et d'habitude le naughty Brian Trubshaw comme ça, le test pilote.
And how do you get on with French people?
Very well, so do I. And me, yes, so does Mrs. A. I mean, be fair, Pascal. Blaise Pascal.
Jean-Paul Sartre.
Voltaire. Really, Descartes.
Well, what do you think of the Germans?
Rubbish. Immanuel Kant.
Oh, the ego posits itself, my foot.
Nietzsche.
Would you swap René Descartes for, say, Hegel and Martin Heidegger?
No. I'll keep Descartes.
Definitely.
And now for something completely different. A man with 3 buttocks.
I have with me Mr. Arthur Frampton, who... Mr. Frampton, I understand that you, as it were... Well, let me put it another way. I believe that whereas most people have 2...
Oh, sorry.
Well, Mr. Frampton, is that chair comfortable?
Fine, fine.
Mr. Frampton, vis-à-vis your rump.
I beg your pardon?
Your rump.
What?
Your derriere. Posterior. Sit upon.
What's that?
Your buttocks.
Oh, my bum!
Well, now, I understand that you, Mr. Frampton, have a 50% bonus in the region of what you said.
I got 3 cheeks.
Yes, excellent. Well, we were wondering, Mr. Frampton, if you could see your way clear to giving us a quick visual... Mr. Frampton, would you take your trousers down?
What? Here! Get that away! I'm not taking my trousers down on television. What do you think I am?
Please take them down.
No.
Now, look, Mr. Frampton, it's quite easy for somebody just to come along here claiming that they have a bit to spare in the body department. The point is, our viewers need proof.
Oh, I've been on Persian radio and the Forces Network.
And now for something completely different. A man with 3 buttocks.
I have with me Mr. Arthur Frampton, who... Mr. Frampton, I understand that you, as it were, well, let me put it another way. I believe that whereas most people... Excuse me, didn't we do this just now?
Yes.
Well, why didn't you say so?
I thought it was the continental version.
Hello, Mr. Ilton. You are sole proprietor and owner of the Wizard Chocolate Company.
I am.
Superintendent Parrot now from the hygiene squad. We want to have a word with you about your box of chocolates entitled the Wizzo Quality Assortment.
Oh, yes.
If I may begin at the beginning. First, there is the cherry fondue. This is extremely nasty. We can't prosecute you for that.
Agreed.
Next, we have number 4, crunchy frog.
Oh, yes.
Am I right in thinking there's a real frog in here?
Yes, a little one.
What sort of frog?
A dead frog.
Is it cooked?
No.
What, a raw frog?
Oh, we use only the finest baby frogs, dew-picked and flown from Iraq, cleansed in finest quality spring water, lightly killed and then sealed in a succulent Swiss quintuple smooth full cream treble milk chocolate envelope and lovingly frosted with glucose.
That's as may be, it's still a frog.
What else?
Well, don't you even take the bones out?
If we took the bones out, it wouldn't be crunchy, would it?
Superintendent Parrot ate one of those.
Will you excuse me for a moment? It says crunchy frog quite clearly.
We have to protect the public. They won't expect there to be a real frog in the chocolate. Superintendent thought it was an almond whirl. They're bound to think it's some form of mock frog.
Mock frog? We don't use artificial flavourings or additives of any kind.
Nevertheless, I advise you in future to replace the words crunchy frog with the legend crunchy raw unboned real dead frog if you want to avoid prosecution.
What about our sales?
I'm not interested in your sales. I have to protect the general public. Now, how about this one? Ram's Bladder Cup. It was Ram's Bladder Cup, Superintendent?
Yeah. Excuse me.
What kind of confection is this?
We use only the choicest juicy chunks of fresh Cornish ram's bladder, emptied, steamed, flavoured with sesame seeds, whipped into a fondue and garnished with lark's vomit.
Lark's vomit?
Correct.
It don't say nothing about lark's vomit on the box.
It says it on the bottom of the box after monosodium glutamate.
Well, I hardly think this is good enough. I think it would be more appropriate if the box bore a large red label, warning, lark's vomit.
Our sales would plummet.
Well, why don't you move into more conventional areas of confectionery, like praline and lime cream, a very popular flavour I'm led to understand, or strawberry delight. I mean, look at this one. Cockroach cluster. Anthrax ripple. What's this? Spring surprise.
That's our speciality. Covered with dark, smooth chocolate. When you pop it into your mouth, steel bolts spring out and plunge straight through both cheeks.
Well, where's the pleasure in that? If people place a nice chocky in their mouth, they don't want their cheeks pierced. In any case, this is an inadequate description of the sweetmeat. I shall have to ask you to accompany me at the station.
It's a fair cop.
If members of the public would only take a bit more care when they're buying sweeties, they would reduce the number of man-hours lost to the nation and spend less time having their stomachs pumped and sitting around in public.
Your wife a goer? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Nudge, nudge, know what I mean? Say no more.
I beg your pardon?
Your wife, does she go? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Nudge, nudge. Does she go,
She sometimes goes.
Oh, I bet she does. I bet she does. Say no more. Say no more. Know what I mean? Nudge, nudge.
I don't think I follow you.
Follow me. Follow me. That's good. That's good. Know what I mean? Not as good as a wink to a blind bat.
Are you selling something?
Selling, selling. Very good. Very good. Know what I mean?
No.
Wicked, wicked. You're wicked, Nudge, nudge. Say no more. Your wife's a sport,
Oh, she likes sport.
I bet she does. I bet she does.
Yes, she's fond of cricket.
Who isn't, Likes games. Knew she would, knew she would. Who doesn't, who doesn't? She's been around a bit, Been around.
Yes, she's travelled. She's from Purley.
I bet she is. I bet she is. Say no more, say no more, say no more. Burley, say no more. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Nudge, nudge.
No.
Oh, Struth. Your wife interested in photography, Photographs,
Photography.
Snap, snap, grin, grin, wink, wink, say no more.
Holiday snaps.
Could be taken on holiday, swimming costumes, candid photography.
No, we don't have a camera.
Oh, still.
Look, are you insinuating something?
Oh, no. Yes.
Well?
Well, I mean, you're a man of the world. You've been there, been around.
What do you mean?
Well, you've done it. You've slept with a lady.
Yes.
What's it like?
Tonight, the mouse problem. This week, the world around us examines the growing social phenomenon of mice and men. What is it that makes a man want to be a mouse?
Well, it's not a question of wanting to be a mouse. It just sort of happens to you. All of a sudden, you realise, well, that's what you want to be.
When did you first notice these, shall we say, tendencies?
Well, I was about 17, and some mates of me went along to a party, and, we had a lot to drink. And then, well, some of the fellas there started handing cheese around, and just out of curiosity, I tried a bit. And that was that.
And what else did these fellows do?
Well, some of them started dressing up as mice a bit, and then when they got the mouse costumes on, they started squeaking.
And was that all?
That was all, yeah.
And what was your reaction?
Well, I was shocked,
Yeah.
but gradually I've come to feel that I was more at ease when I was with other mice.
A typical case, whom we shall refer to as Mr. A, although his real name is George Jackson, 32A Milton Avenue, Hounslow, Middlesex. Telephone 012468047. What is it that drives people like Mr. A to this way of life? I have with me a consultant psychiatrist.
Well, we psychiatrists have found that 8% of the population will always be mice. After all, there's something of the mouse in all of us. I mean, who can honestly say at one time or another he hasn't felt sexually attracted to mice? I know I have. Most normal adolescents go through a phase of squeaking 2 or 3 times a day. But on the other hand, some youngsters are almost certainly attracted to it by its very illegality. The same with murder. Make it illegal, and it acquires a mystique. Look at arson. I mean, who can honestly say that at one time or another he hasn't set fire to some great public building? I know I have. The only way to bring the crime rate down is to reduce the number of offences. Get it out in the open. I know I have.
Well, as a member of the Stock Exchange, I would suck their brains out with a straw, sell the widows, and go into South American zinc.
Well, I'm an accountant and consequently too boring to be of interest.
I'd split their nostrils open with a boat hook.
Well, David, I'm a staunch. Yes, she's a staunch.
And what do you think?
I agree with her.
And what did you say?
Oh, I didn't say anything. It was my tummy rumbling.
What do you think, though?
What about mice men? Well, I think they should be kicked in the upper lip with a steel-tipped toe cap. Don't we, girls? Yes! Yes!
I now pronounce you man and wife. Hello. My wife and I would like to buy a bed, please.
Certainly, sir. I'll get someone to help you.
Thank you.
Mr. Veriter!
Can I help you, sir?
Yes, we'd like a bed, a double bed, and I wonder if you've got one for about £50.
Oh, no, I'm afraid not, sir. Our cheapest bed is £800, sir.
£800?
Excuse me, sir, but before I go, I ought to have told you that Mr. Verity does tend to exaggerate. Every figure he gives you will be 10 times too high.
I see.
Otherwise, he's perfectly all right.
Yes. Well, I see. Your cheapest double bed, then, is £80.
£800, yes, sir.
I see. And how wide is it?
It's 60 feet wide.
Yes.
60 feet?
6 foot wide, you see. And the length?
The length is, just a moment. Mr. Lambert, what is the length of the comfy down, Major Ed?
2 foot long.
2 foot long?
Yes, remembering, of course, you have to multiply everything Mr. Lambert says by 3. It's nothing he can help, you understand. Otherwise, he's perfectly all right.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
But it does mean that when he says a bed is 2 foot long, it is, in fact, 60 feet long. All right?
Yes, I see.
That's without the mattress, of course, sir.
How much is that?
Mr. Lambert will be able to tell you that. Lambert, could you show these 20 good people the dog kennels, please?
Dog kennels? No, mattresses.
I'm sorry, you have to say dog kennel to Mr. Lambert, because if you say mattress, he puts a bucket over his head. I should have explained, otherwise he's perfectly all right.
I see. Excuse me, could you show us the dog kennels, please?
Dog kennels?
Yes, we want to look at the dog kennels.
Ah, yes, well, that's the pets department, second floor.
No. We want to see the dog kennels.
Yes, second floor.
No, we don't want to see dog kennels. It's just that Mr. Verity said that...
Oh, dear, what's he been telling you now?
Well, he said we should say dog kennels instead of saying mattresses. Oh, dear. Hello?
Did you say mattress?
Well, yes.
I'm not coming out.
I did ask you not to say mattress, didn't I?
But, I mean...
I'm not.
Now I've got to get into the fish tank and sing. And did those feet in ancient times
Oh, dear, did somebody say mattress
walk
to Mr.
upon
Lambert?
England's mountains green? And was the holy Lamb of... You should be all right now, but don't.
No. Excuse me, could we see the dog kennels, please?
Yes, pets department, second floor.
No, those dog kennels like that, you see.
Mattresses?
Yes.
Well, if you want a mattress, why not say mattress?
Well, I mean,
it's a little confusing for me when you say dog kennel. If it's a mattress you want, just say mattress.
I mean, you put a bucket over your head last time we said mattress.
Oh, dear. And did those feet in ancient times walk upon England's
Somebody say mattress to Mr. Lambert.
Twice.
Hey, everybody! Somebody said mattress to Mr. Lambert twice!
Of God, on England's pleasant pastures see. It's not working, we need more! The countenance divine shine forth upon our crowded hills, and was Jerusalem.
I'm sorry, can I help you?
We want a mattress.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Interesting People. Our first interesting person tonight is from Egypt. He's just arrived in England today. He's Mr. Ali Bayan. He's with us tonight and he's stark raving mad. Mr. Ali Bayan, stark raving mad. Now it's time for music and the Rachel Tuvey Bicycle Choir with their fantastic arrangement of Men of Harlech for bicycle bells only.
Sleep, my friends, no ill betide thee all through the night.
Great. Now here's an interesting person. Apart from being a full-time stapling machine, he can also give a cat influenza.
All right, puss. Right.
Well, you can't get much more interesting than that. Or can you? With me now is Mr. Ken Dove, the most interesting man in Dorking. Mr. Dove, I believe you're interested in shouting.
Yeah, that's right, David. I'm very interested in shouting, all right. I think shouting is wonderful.
And what does your wife think of it?
I agree with him.
And now, here's a man with a very interesting cat. This is Tiddles, is it?
That is correct. This is Tiddles.
And what does she do?
She flies across the studio and lands in a bucket of water.
By herself?
No, I fling her.
How interesting. And now, for the first time on TV, Interesting People brings you a man who claims he can send bricks to sleep by hypnosis. Mr. Keith Maniac from Guatemala. Keith, you claim you can send bricks to sleep.
That's right, yes.
Entirely by hypnosis.
Yes, I use no artificial methods.
Well, we have a brick here, Keith. Could you put it to sleep for us?
Oh, well, it's asleep already.
How do you know?
Well, it's not moving, is it? It's completely still.
I see. Well, have we got a moving brick, please?
Yes, there's one over there.
Right, and fling it across.
There we are, fast asleep.
Very good indeed. Mr. Keith Maniac from Guatemala. Now, do remember, if you're interesting and want to appear on the program, write your name and address on your telephone number and send it to this address. The BBC, care of E.F. Lutt, 18 Rupee Buildings, West 12. And that's all from Interesting People this week. Next week we'll be back with a bumper edition featuring a man who can swallow furniture, a maggot who is also a first-class shot, and a politician in a glass of water. Join us then.
Good morning. Is this the barber's shop sketch?
Yes, sir. I'll be with you in a minute.
The barber is now washing and re-washing his hands, trying to remove the obvious bloodstains on his coat.
How would you like it, sir?
Short back and sides, please.
How do you do that?
Well, just ordinary short back and sides, you know.
It's not a razor cut. Razor cut, blood artery spurt, murder.
No, just an ordinary haircut.
Oh, thank goodness. It's just scissors.
Yes, just ordinary haircut, you know.
You wouldn't rather have it just combed?
What?
You wouldn't prefer to forget all about it?
No, I want something cut off.
Cut! Hitchcock, murder, blood, psycho, homicide, spurt, artery, sever, court case. Right. There, finished.
What?
I finished cutting your hair. It's all done.
You haven't done any cutting yet.
All right. I'm sorry. I confess I haven't cut your hair. I hate cutting hair. I can't do it anymore. I have this terrible, uncontrollable fear whenever I see hair. I can't bear cutting it. Ever since I was a kid, I hated seeing hair being cut. My mother said I was a fool. She said the only cure would be to become a barber. So I spent 5 ghastly years at the hairdresser's training centre at Totnes. Can you imagine what it's like working for 5 years on the same head? I didn't want to be a haircutter. I wanted to be a lumberjack, leaping from tree to tree as they float down the mighty rivers of British Columbia. The giant redwood, the larch, the fir, the mighty Scots pine, the smell of fresh-cut timber, the crash of mighty trees. With my best girl by my side, we'd sing, sing, sing. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night, I work all day.
He's a lumberjack and he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day.
I cut down trees, I eat my lunch, I go to the lavatory. On Wednesdays I go shopping and have buttered scones for tea.
He cuts down trees, I eat my lunch, he goes to the lavatory. On Wednesdays he goes shopping and has butter scones for tea. He's a lumberjack and he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day.
I cut down trees, I skip and jump, I like to press wildflowers. I put on women's clothing and hang around in bars.
He cuts down trees, he skips
and jumps, I like to press wildflowers. I put on women's clothing and hang around in bars.
He's a lumberjack and he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day.
I cut down trees, I wear high heels, suspendies and a bra. I wish I'd been a girlie, just like my dear mama. I cut down trees, I wear high heels, suspenders and a bra. I wish I'd been a girlie, just like my dear mama.
Oh, Bevis, I thought you were so rugged. Oh.
Dear sir, I wish to complain on the strongest possible terms about the song which you have just broadcast about the lumberjack who wears women's clothes. Many of my best friends are lumberjacks, and only a few of them are transvestites. Yours faithfully, Brigadier Sir Charles Arthur Strong, Mrs. P.S. I never kissed the editor of the Radio Times.
Why can't we have more art critics?
And so you shall.
Oh, look, an art critic. Oh, yes.
I'd like to talk to you tonight about the place of the nude in my bed. In the history of my bed. Art! In the history of art. The nude in the history of tart. Call girl. I'm sorry. I'll start again. Bum. Oh, what did he give away? Oh. The nude in the history of bum.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of It's the Arts. And we kick off this evening with the cinema.
Good evening. One of the most prolific film directors of this age, or indeed of any age, is Sir Edward Ross, back in his native country for the first time for 5 years to open a season of his works at the National Film Theatre, and we are indeed fortunate to have him with us in the studio tonight.
Good evening.
Edward, you don't mind if I call you Edward?
No, not at all.
Because it does worry some people. I don't know why, but they're a little sensitive, I do take the precaution of asking on these occasions.
No, that's fine.
So Edward's all right. Splendid. I'm sorry to have brought it out.
No, please, Edward, it is.
Well, thank you very much for being so helpful. And it's more than my job's worth to...
Yes, quite.
Thinks it rather difficult to establish a rapport, put the other person at his ease.
Quite.
Silly little point, but it does seem to matter. Still, least said the better. Ted, when you first started, I hope you don't mind if I call you Ted. I mean, as opposed to Edward.
No, everyone calls me Ted.
Well, of course, it's shorter, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And much less formal.
Yes, Ted, Edward, or anything.
Thank you. Incidentally, do call me Tom. I don't want you bothering. That is Thomas nonsense. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. Eddie Baby, when you first started in the...
I'm sorry, but I don't like being called Eddie Baby.
What?
I don't like being called Eddie Baby.
Did I call you Eddie Baby?
Yes, you did. Now, if we could get on with the interview...
I don't think I did call you Eddie Baby.
You did.
Did I call him Eddie Baby? I didn't really call you Eddie Baby, did I, sweetie?
Don't call me sweetie.
Can I call you Sugar Plum?
No.
Pussycat?
No.
Angel Drawers?
No, you may not. Get on with it.
Can I call you Frank?
Why, Frank?
Well, it's a nice name. Robin Day's got a hedgehog called Frank.
What is going on?
Now, Franny, little Franny Pooh.
No, I'm leaving. No, I'm off. I'm going. I know big sense.
Tell us about your latest film, Sir Edward.
What?
Tell us about your latest film, Sir Edward, if you'd be so very kind.
None of this pussycat nonsense.
Promise. Please, Sir Edward.
My latest film?
Yes, Sir Edward.
Well, the idea, funnily enough, is based on an idea I had when I first joined the industry in 1919. Of course, in those days, I was only a tea-boy.
Oh, shut up.
End of side one.
Good evening, record lovers. Stand at ease. I'm the GOC commanding Southern Area Relief Force with special responsibility for any waxings or mechanical reproductions of any kind. Don't snigger, Pearson. Now, as this is a stereophonic record, I have to go through the routine test procedure. So I'm going to walk from this speaker here to that speaker over there. Are you ready? Right. Here we go. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left. And here I am. If your stereo is working. If I'm still over there, see me up. Sorry to interrupt your enjoyment, but that's what the Army's all about. And now, you're going straight back to It's the Arts.
Last week, the Royal Festival Hall saw the first performance of a new symphony by one of the world's leading modern composers, Arthur Two-Sheds Jackson. Mr. Jackson.
Hello.
May I just sidetrack for one moment? This, what shall I call it, nickname of yours?
Oh, yes.
Two-Sheds. How did you come by it?
Well, I don't use it myself, but some of my friends call me Two-Sheds.
And do you, in fact, have two sheds?
No, I've only got one. I've had one for some time, and a few years ago I said I was thinking of getting another, and since then some people have called me Two-Sheds.
In spite of the fact that you have only one?
Yes.
And are you still intending to purchase this second shed?
No.
To bring you in line with your epithet?
No.
I see. Well, to return to your symphony.
Yes.
Did you write this symphony in the shed?
No.
Have you written any of your recent works in this shed of yours?
No, not at all. It's just an ordinary garden shed.
Oh, I see. And you're thinking of buying this second shed to write in?
No. Look, this shed business, it doesn't really matter. The sheds aren't important. A few friends call me Two-Sheds, and that's all there is to it. I wish you'd asked me about the music. Everybody talks about the sheds. They've got it out of proportion. I'm a composer. I'm going to get rid of the shed. I'm fed up with it.
Then you'll be Arthur No Sheds Jackson, eh?
No, forget about the sheds. They don't matter.
Mr. Jackson, I think with respect we ought to return to the subject of your symphony. I understand that you used to be interested in train spotting.
What?
I understand that about 30 years ago you were interested in train spotting.
What's that got to do with my bloody music?
Are you having any trouble with him?
Yes, a little. Good Lord, you're the man who interviewed Sir Edward Ross on the other side.
Exactly. Well, we interviewers are more than a match for the likes of you, Two Sheds.
Yes, make yourself scarce, Two Sheds. This studio isn't big enough for the three of us.
Yeah, what are you doing? Stop it!
Get your own arts program, you fairy.
Arthur Two Sheds Jackson. Never mind, Timmy.
Oh, Mark, you're such a comfort.
Hello, children. Hello. Here is this morning's story. Are you ready? Then we'll begin. One day, Ricky the Magic Pixie went to visit Daisy Bumble in her tumble-down cottage. He found her in the bedroom. Roughly, he grabbed her heaving shoulders, pulling her down onto the bed hurriedly and ripping off her thin... Old Nick, the sea captain, was a rough, tough, jolly sort of fellow. He loved the life of the sea, and he loved to hang out down by the pier where the men dressed as ladies. Rumpeltweezer ran the Dinky Tinky shop in the foot of the magic oak tree, by the wobbly dum-dum tree, in the shade of the magic glade down in Dingley Dell. Here he sold contraceptives, and where Mary Stopes was... with a melon? That's all for today, children.
Stop messing about with the speeds. Do you mind terribly if I hold your hand?
Oh, no, not at all.
Oh, Iris, you're so very beautiful.
Oh, do you really mean that?
I do. I think I'm falling in love with you.
Oh, Victor.
It's silly, isn't it?
No, not at all, dear sweet Victor.
No, not that. I meant us being so close to you in the soft toy department all those months and never daring.
Oh, Victor.
Oh, Iris. Who can that be?
Oh, try to get rid of them.
Will I get rid of them?
Hello.
Hello?
Remember me?
No, I'm afraid I...
In the pub. I was the tall, thin one with the moustache about 3 years ago.
Oh.
Only you said we must have a drink together sometime, so I thought I'd take you up on it as the Film Society meeting was cancelled this evening.
Well, it is a little bit awkward.
Hello,
tonight,
I'm Arthur.
Hello.
Arthur name by name but not by nature. I always say that, don't I, Vic?
Yes, well, look...
Is this your wife?
No.
Oh, I get the picture. Well, don't mind me, Vicky boy. I know all about one-night stands.
I beg your pardon?
Do you mind if I take that record off?
Look, we put that one on.
Here's a good one. What's brown and sounds like a bell?
I beg your pardon?
What's brown and sounds like a bell? Ding. That's a good one, eh? Look, I'll wait here till you finish. Don't mind me.
Who that?
I'll get it. It'll be my friends. I took the liberty of inviting them along.
Look, we were trying to have an evening on our own.
Oh, they won't mind. They're very broad-minded.
Good evening. My name is Equator. Brian Equator, light round the middle of the earth, only with an L. This is my wife, Audrey. She smells a bit, but she has a heart of gold.
Look, there's been a misunderstanding, I'm afraid.
Who's that then?
What?
Who's the bird?
I'm very sorry.
You've got a nice pair there, love. Shut up, you bitch. It's only a bit of fun.
Now, excuse me.
Big gin, please.
I'll get it.
Look, don't touch those drinks.
I'm gonna have 3 tins of beans,
I
please.
told you to lay off the beans, you whore.
I'll only 3 tins.
Button your lip, you rat bag. It was rather witty, wasn't it? Where's my gin?
Who the hell's that?
Oh, I took the liberty of asking along an old friend, as his wife has just passed away, and he's somewhat distraught, poor chap.
Come on in, Mr. Freight.
Hello, tigers. What a simply ghastly place.
Yes, it's not too good, is it? A pint of creme de menthe for my puffy friend. I'll sit here. Bit lumpy. Oh, no wonder I was sitting on the cat.
Oh, you killed it!
I've asked along a simply gorgeous little man I picked up outside the Odeon.
Is he sexy?
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry I had to bring the goat, only he's not at all well. I only hope he don't go on the carpet.
Come on, love, drop 'em. Blimey, she don't go much, do she?
Oh, I wet 'em.
Oh, the goat's gone poos.
Look, what the hell do you think you're doing? Get out of here, all of you, get out!
I beg your pardon.
I'm turning you all out. Get out. I'm not having a crowd of filthy perverts in my flat. I'm giving you half a minute and then I'm going to call the police.
I don't like the tone of your voice. Right, lads, let's have Jerusalem.
And did those feet in ancient time walk upon England's mountains green?
There will now be a short intermission. Our sales staff will visit all parts of the cinema.
Albatross! Albatross!
2 chalk ices, please.
I haven't got any chalk ices. I just got this albatross.
What flavour is it?
Oh, it's a bird, mate. It's a bird. It's not any bloody flavour.
It's got to have a flavour. Everything's got a flavour.
Well, it's a bleeding albatross, isn't it? It's bleeding seabird flavour.
Do you get wafers with it?
Of course you don't get bloody wafers.
How much is it?
9pence.
I'll have 2, please.
And you, Stormy petrol on a stick. Can it ripple?
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson.
That's right, yes.
Oh, come on in. Excuse me not shaking hands. I've just been putting a bit of lard on the cat's boil.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you must be tired. It's a long drive from Coventry, isn't it?
Well, we usually reckon on 5.5 hours, and it took us 6 hours and 53 minutes with a 25-minute stop at Frampton Cottrell to stretch our legs, so we had to wait half an hour to get onto the M5 at Droitwich.
Really?
Then there was a 3-mile queue just before Bridgewater on the A38. We usually come round on the B3339, you see, just before Bridgewater.
Yeah, really?
But we tried to risk it because they're always saying they're going to widen it there.
Are they?
Yes, well, just by the intersection there where the A372 joins up. There's plenty of room to widen it there. There's only grass verges. They can get another 6 feet knocked down that hospital. Then we took the coast road through Willington and we got all the Taunton traffic on the A358 from Crowcombe and Stockenburg.
Well, you must be dying for a cup of tea.
Well, wouldn't say no, not if it's warm and wet.
Well, come on in the lounge. I'm just going to serve afternoon tea.
Very nice.
Come on in, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, and meet Mr. and Mrs. Phillips. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's their 3rd time here. We can't keep you away, can we? And over there is Mr. Hilter.
Good time. Good afternoon.
Oh, planning a little excursion, eh, Mr. Hilter?
Yeah, we have a little, was ist Weise bewegen?
Hiking.
Yes, we make a little hike for Bideford.
Oh, yes, well, you'll want the A39. Oh, no, you've got the wrong map there. This is Stalingrad.
Oh.
You want the Ilfracombe and Barnstable section.
Stalingrad. I know, Reginald, you have the wrong map here, you silly old leg before wicked English person.
I'm sorry, mein Führer, mein dicky old chum.
Oh, lucky Mr. Johnson pointed that out. You wouldn't have had much fun in Stalingrad, would you? I said you wouldn't have had much fun in Stalingrad, would you?
Not much fun in Stalingrad, no.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't